unless you've been living under a rock as of late, you will have noticed that as of this past weekend, Canada has been plunged into an impromptu federal election, culminating with the day we vote on September 20th. The campaign is just over 5 weeks long. This is the shortest allowed by federal law at, I believe, 35 days. And it's an election that nobody wanted, coming at the worst time. We're still in a pandemic. People are still freaked out and paranoid. Well, not everybody, but enough people, that we shouldn't really be having an election right now. But lo and behold, the egotistical megalomaniac that we currently have as a Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, has thought it necessary to trigger an election by dropping the writ as of last Sunday. Some of the blame should be shouldered by the newly minted Governor General, who could have refused the request to dissolve Parliament, but she did not, and we are now on the election campaign trail. It's unfortunate that we have to have an election right now, because I've been talking with a lot of friends who are politically minded like me, and we all agree that we are going to end up in the same boat come September 20th with another minority government, whether it be a liberal minority of the same size we have now, even though we think Justin Trudeau is probably going to lose maybe 10 seats or less, or we could have a very small conservative minority, which would be nice, except for the fact that the smaller the minority, the higher the chance that we will be plunged into another election because of a loss of confidence. And this whole situation is extremely perplexing. But when you have a Prime Minister who cares not about his country or anything or laws or ethics, as he has broken those ethics and laws on numerous occasions that should have been removed, we end up with this because of his giant ego that seemingly knows no bounds. And I'm going to give you some profiles on the main political parties right now to let you know how things are. So the ruling Liberals, led by small potato Justin Trudeau, who has absolutely no clue how to run a country, should have never, ever been elected as Prime Minister in the first place. If you will remember, he was given a majority government the first time around, which was a disaster. He has been a Prime Minister that has done nothing but used political correctness to divide Canadians, used virtue signaling to piss off Canadians. He's done more to destroy Canada and break laws than any other Prime Minister in Canadian history. Taxes have gone way up. The cost of living has gone way up. Military spending has gone down. It's just a mess right now. This is the worst government we have ever had. I've been around long enough where I can say that. It's not going to get any better. And the fact that the last time around in 2019 he was given a minority government by the Canadian public, so his majority was reduced to minority. He was being propped up by the NDP and right near the end the Bloc Québécois, who I'm very disappointed in, because their leader, I believe his name is Blanchette, had a lot of good things going for him. And while I'm not a fan of separatist parties, especially the Bloc, Blanchette was a smart guy doing a lot of smart things and being that smart person in Parliament until he propped up the Trudeau government near the end. Moving right along, we have the Conservative Party, which is Canada's best option at this point, led by O'Toole, who is a family man and a former Canadian soldier. I have great respect for this, not just because he's a family man, but because he has been a soldier. He's been in the trenches, so to speak, in the military. He knows how to handle situations. He's a smart guy. Yes, he did some dumb stunts back in the spring, even comparing the government to an outhouse and using an outhouse in a commercial and a YouTube stunt. I don't agree with that, but he's still the best man for the job. The problem with the Conservatives is, as someone speaking as a member of the Conservative Party of Canada, we're not ready for this. We didn't have enough in the coffers. This was rather an unprepared election because nobody wanted an election in this country. It's the worst time for one. all of the opposition parties were at least united in not wanting an election, and it still happened. As you know, also the Conservatives are pro-military, tough on crime, and lower taxes. They're also promising now a tax break for Canadians in December, which would remove the GST from purchases. That would be a big help, especially for poor people like me, and come off some basic things I need for living. I could use some articles of clothing. The NDP, which is the New Democrats, led by Mr. Singh, who is a sideshow freak, who has done nothing but bitch and moan and jump up and down and scream bloody murder, and says he has the backs of ordinary Canadians, but this is a guy who wears $4,000 suits and drives flashy German and Italian sports cars worth $100,000, and who has been spotted ignoring every type of pandemic regulation out there. I'm not a big fan of the pandemic and its regulations, but when someone who is a leader of a federal party can skirt them and nothing happens, makes me wonder. The NDP are anti-Canada. They even had their secret manifesto leak out where they want to dismantle the Canadian military, as well as increase taxes and add spending for all of these programs that we don't have money for, because thanks to the Liberals, we are nearly $1 trillion in debt. The Green Party, self-explanatory, green, environment, whatever, they are currently infighting and having insurrection with their own leader that was recently elected as leader of the party, because they can't seem to get anything straight. They have never, are not, will never be a viable option for anybody in Canada. Their idea of a utopia in terms of environmentalism is more of a fruitopia. I've said this on a number of occasions. A lot of their candidates, if not all of them, especially their leaders, are complete far left-wing nut jobs. If you want examples, look up Keenan Alwyn, who now is a councillor of the city of Barrie, where I live. He's the biggest nut job on the face of the planet. He couldn't make it in the Green Party, could not even get close to being elected, and somehow they made him a councillor. The Bloc Québécois only runs candidates in Quebec. It's a separatist party. I have no use for them. Those are the big five parties. We also have the rather new People's Party of Canada, which I became a member of the first time around. Boy, what a mistake that was. Maxime Bernier, the leader who had some good ideas at the beginning, turned into another nut job, this time on the far right. And there's a new party out west called the Maverick Party, which is a Western separatist party, which is stupid. You should all be ashamed, you people that created that party. Any other party is not a serious party. They don't even have party status. Most of them don't. Again, this is not a good time for an election. I do not think this should have happened, but like I said, we are going to end up with the same government we have, or another minority of a different stripe. It's going to fall, and we're just going to be in this ridiculous cycle over and over and over again. Have a great day, everybody. I might have another show coming up with more information and thoughts on the election, but I'm too pissed off right now. Have a great night.